All right. Hey, Keegan Baker, good to see you. I am so stoked that you agreed to just get on old Zoom and let me ask you a bunch of questions. I don't know that we've ever done this, have we? We've never really had a an interview like this. I've been so fascinated with your story. Um, Everybody's wondering right now if they're clicked on this video, if it's in the timeline, like who the heck is this guy on this screen, sitting in a room somewhere with headphones on? Well, I'm about ready to tell you, this guy is a guy you need to get to know. Obviously, my role as the 402 executive director is to kind of keep the ship floating in this time, keep the organization rolling forward. But more than that, in this season, I really I really wanted to, more than anything, allow you maybe to learn who the collective is, who's in the collective, and then just to learn the stories, just to hear the stories of these incredible artists who make up this network, this dynamic network of artists who love to serve people. And Keegan is no exception. He's been with us. Keegan, how long have you been in the collective so far?
I think we're coming up on 2 years. Yeah.
2 years. So Keegan, I met Keegan when he was just a little guy. I sound like a grandpa right now or something. When you were this tall. No. He was fresh out of college, and he's looking for, direction. Like, what do I do with my life? What do I do with my art? What do I do with my career? And he's been wrestling. We've been wrestling with that, trying to figure out, where to go, how the collective can come alongside him, and how he can benefit and grow as an artist practitioner himself. But then also, he's been able to impact a lot of students since he's been here, and I've been so pumped about what you've been able to accomplish and still are accomplishing, that I just wanted to get everybody kind of the face to the name, and to hear right from the horse's mouth. I'm not calling you a horse, but I'm just saying, could you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you came from, what you're passionate about? Give the listener, the viewer, just a little bit of background on who Keegan Baker is.
Definitely. Yeah. So, like I said, joined the collective after studying art in college, and that's really what I went for. So, I got a fine
Yeah.
art degree, and from there, I've just kind of been practicing a lot,
Yep.
doing paintings, usually with like a fantasy element. And then
Sweet.
from there, finding and reaching out to you guys, became part of this awesome organization, where I was really able to kind of, still do my own like practice, or still my own drawings
Yeah.
and things like that.
Right.
But also, the student element became so awesome, and really, like, as a specific type of teaching, I've really come to appreciate what it is. And through a couple different options with like group classes as well as one-on-one, I've found that I've struck this like amazing Zen balance of
Mhm.
drawing, painting, because when I do classes, I do a lot of demonstration.
Yep.
We do a lot of fundamentals, so we're focusing on, like I said, realism, sort of like this really traditional approach that, like, I got through a multiple, like, thousands of dollar experience, for a much cheaper kind of price. It's a student. I feel like what we go over is, a lot of the core stuff to becoming like a well-rounded
Yeah.
artist. So
Right.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
that's
where
that's
we're at.
incredible.
Thanks. Yeah,
Well,
so a lot of that.
it's awesome, Keegan, because for me, this is the essential message that I want people to hear, is that now's a I think we can all agree that now is just kind of a strange time, and we know nobody saw this coming. And again, in your traditional setting, it was real face to face classroom setting. I want everybody to kind of hear about how you've pivoted. Like, there again, you're now kind of in a sweet spot. Even it's almost become, you've done a great job pivoting, by the way, and changing your, reinventing yourself, really, being thrust into virtual, as a visual artist. But talk to that, real quick, if you can. How have you felt this time, this weird time, I'll just say, uh, have you had to change, and how has that impacted you as an artist itself?
So one, at first it was kind of like all this uncertainty, right? And then
Yeah, right,
I feel like, everybody's sort of adapting, but especially in terms of like teaching art,
right.
has become actually cool in a lot of different ways.
It's awesome.
So the fear and stuff that like a lot of people had, I think, is starting to like wane.
Yeah,
We're just getting more used to COVID or something. But
guess so.
the digital lessons has become awesome. So I
Mm,
use digital programs a lot for my art, and
right,
making art and stuff like that. So
right.
it really was just like,
Yeah,
man, it worked
right.
out so
Just
good.
ready to go.
On top of that, it's convenient for the student. So it's
Hmm.
like, they just pop on.
Hmm.
You don't have to like go out, and not to, down like in-person meetings, because there's
Right,
still something to gain from that. But
for sure.
now when I want to show them something, they look at the screen, they
You just
see
look right at the screen. Yeah.
perfect clarity what they need to see. And like I said, it's
Mm,
the beauty of programs like Photoshop or Procreate, if they're using Apple products, is that I can just like go over an image, and that's a huge part of it. Is like, to really understand what we're doing, we can look at and really analyze from a like. I mean, I can show them things I can't show them even in
I was
person.
gonna say, I mean, I'm sure that you've probably unlocked just maybe some more potent teaching tools than you even could before. Like I can't imagine how incredibly helpful it would be to have a teacher like you, a mentor, an instructor, like literally draw on top of my work, or like show me a layer
All right.
that can be so much more potent than just two pieces of paper or your
Right.
canvases or whatever it is.
And then we
So I
can
mean, that's
record
great.
that. So
Yeah, and
that's
then
the other
record it.
factor, is like, I mean, it's almost like ways to hopefully, when we get to a point where we could potentially meet again, or people are comfortable doing that, since we still
Right,
offer that, um,
right.
starting to send out the feelers. But the thing
Yeah,
of that would be, do I set up a camera? Like, do they appreciate
right,
this enough would they want to see the live demos? Because no matter
right.
what, I'm like, in terms of my method, like you it's a visual medium, like you want to see
Absolutely.
how to learn, and so
Right.
that's
Wow.
sort of
Well, and I think you're a great example. And I, uh, you know, my biggest, I'm always thinking like big term, big picture, long term. Uh, how do you feel about? I mean, let me just be clear. One of the craziest things that happened to me as an artist that really impacted my life was an artist had connection with me. And what I'm talking about is somebody was concerned about my craft enough to tell me that I was not very good. Uh, they were concerned. They took the time to be able to tell me through a series of lessons and relationship and time and credibility that, Ben, listen, you can do better. You can do better. Have you, I mean, how is that going virtual impacted your personal connection to your students? Have you felt a diminishing or any kind of effect in that realm about connecting to your student?
um not really.
That's
Again,
incredible.
the kids I have, and again, they're mostly, I still do meet in person. I have adult students as well, but
Right,
from ages like 9 to 14 is kind of the general realm we,
right,
demographic.
right.
And so far it's awesome for me. What I love to do is, they'll a lot of them still do traditional medium, so they'll hold
Mhm.
up something for me, like their pencil and paper drawing will be right here.
Right.
And I say, pause it. Do you just hold that up for a sec? I can take a screen grab. So I've
Oh
got
my
I've
gosh.
got this folder going, and I like it's like getting to be to that point where you're like really proud of what you're doing, and especially with a kid, like you just start figuring out like all they need is positive reinforcement, especially when they're young. So it's like the way I do that is like, you just don't stop. You can't
Yep.
stop.
You can't stop.
And yeah, I haven't, like, they're connected still. The ones that have had to switch over, you know, due to necessity of the situation.
Yep.
I
Mhm.
haven't lost a single like one-on-one that way, like,
Wow.
which is really cool. So there's
That's like a miracle to me. I mean, that just is a testament of, well, to me, it says a lot about you. But it also means that, you know, other artists listening could probably be encouraged that, you know, it's not completely out of your, the grenade hasn't blown everything up, and we pivot, we change, you know, we reinvent ourselves, and you've done a great job, I think.
well, thanks, appreciate it.
So Keegan, uh, so this is the other question I had was, as far as summer, let's talk about a little bit about summertime. Summertime is usually filled with soccer, baseball, swimming, you know, video games. I don't know, whatever it is that people do. And again, we're talking about the student demographic right now. I'm not really talking about collegiate or maybe even adult. But speak to that a little bit. If you're a parent watching right now and you have a house full of crazy monkeys, you know, hanging from the curtains, and they don't know what to do and they're bored. I'm a parent. I have 3 boys, and I hear the word bored all the time, like it's the biggest sin, you know. Oh, I can't believe my children are bored, you know. But in terms of what now do we do with these thousands of students across the city who now don't have soccer practice, don't have baseball, don't have extracurricular activities? What is a good tool? What would you suggest those students do if they're creative, or if that, to the parent, what's a good suggestion for them to keep those students creative, engaged with art education through the summer months? What would be a couple of little tools or tricks?
Take classes with me.
Yeah, sign up today.
Just sign up right now. Let's see. Man. We were tunneling that way. No,
yeah.
I think honestly, as much as like I've adapted talking to my students, they're adapting as well. And
that's good. Yeah.
I, you know, honestly, I do get nervous because for them, I'm like, you know, you guys, you're used to seeing your friends. It's just good to get, you know, like the kid's perspective. You know, I want to know how they're dealing with this, because it, you know, I care about their, you know, it's like a mental health. You know, it's like you guys need to take care of yourselves. Like, we want that, you know, generally it's like an hour that I'll spend one-on-one, and like I want this to be a pleasant kind of like Zen drawing hour. Like, I want you to get invested. And I, you know, because sometimes again, like we all have baggage, and you can tell when that hits. So it's good to get that in the air right at the beginning. So I'll ask questions, and, you know, a lot of them are upset they can't see their friends, but they just get on Zoom too. So they're getting used to this, like, this webcam thing. I can tell a lot of them are getting more comfortable with it. So hopefully this is a shout out to some of them that might be like skeptical or something. The ones that I do have right now that are doing it, it's, you know, it's not like anything's changed at all for them. And I'm like, I'm really proud of them for that too. Right.
That's huge.
They've been able to handle it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, I don't know if everybody knows this, but I have I always brag about Keegan all the time because he's actually teaching my son. My son's almost 10, or is it 15? I can't remember. But he's absolutely been loving his interaction with Keegan. He was doing face-to-face, and of course, when everything hit, we went virtual, and it's been incredible. And I always say this. I've said this to so many people now, just kind of bragging rights to Keegan. And Keegan, I hope your headphones aren't going to like break because I'm going to expand your head, because I've been bragging you up so much. But it's so cool, because when I hear Keegan come online on his Zoom call with my son, I hear him say his name. And when I heard Keegan say, hey, his name's Moses. And when I heard Keegan say, "What's up, Moses?" something just went off in my head, like, this is right. This is good. This is going to help him. And you could have literally, Keegan, you could have literally taught him how to draw stick figures at that point, and it would have been worth it. But I'm telling you, it's just having you connected with my 10-year-old, speaking into his life, calling him up another level, calling the greatness out of him. I love how you like play music during your Zoom call, and you're like, hey, let's listen to classical music. You know what Moses does now? He goes up in his room, listens to classical music on his little clock, and sits there and draws for an hour or so.
I love that.
Sweet. All the time.
Good job, Moses.
I mean, yeah. Dude, I mean, the other day I said, hey, you want to, instead of video games or anything, I'm like, let's color. Let's get out the coloring books and let's color, bro. And
Color's where it's at.
And he did. He got all excited, like, Dad's gonna color with me. So he comes down to the table with a radio. He plugs it in, turns it to the classical radio, and we sat there and colored for like an hour, listening to classical music, man. And he's like, that's what Keegan and I do, man. Like, he was bringing me into this like little secret society.
Welcome.
And,
it's so awesome.
I just thought that was like proof. And if you're out there listening right now, watching this, I'm telling you this because this is the good stuff that's happening. We have enough bad stuff to just a laundry list of bad stuff every day. My news app's going off, more bad news. This is good news right here. Keegan's good news. He's doing good things out of this little room that he's sitting in with the little webcam and the headphones. I mean, he's doing amazing work, and I just wanted you guys to get to meet him today. So there you have it. So Keegan, any last like action items? How can people get to know you and learn about you as an artist? Any websites, or tell them how to get in touch with you if they have any other questions.
Absolutely. You can just go on the 402 Arts Collective website. Hopefully there'll be a link or something.
I'll put a link with it.
Okay. But yeah, that's it. And, you can find me on there. Easy to just go on it's like a bio page and links to sign up through that. So,
right.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there any places where they could go to check out your own personal work, man? Like the fantasy stuff that you do?
I'm all over. I do a lot of social media. So Instagram.
Cool. Instagram.
Keegan Baker Art, and then there's some other resources out there.
Right on.
I can't think of off the top of my head, but they're there.
And Keegan, I mean, you got a lot. You got a lot going on. The last thing, I think we're all our worst promoters. I never have business cards or anything, so.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, man.
I need to memorize that stuff.
Yeah, it's something like that. I usually tell them it's just Google it.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah. But Keegan would be a great option for you if you're listening this for your student or yourself. All ages. We've been talking about kids, but man, I mean, all ages. Keegan could take your skill, help you hone and help you grow. That's what we're all about. Our mission is to impact the culture through the arts, and the collective itself is made up of 50 some. I think we're up to 53 artist instructors, but then those artist instructors they also make up the lesson studio program, which Keegan is a part of. So it's this network of artists who are it's a mutually beneficial community with resources. We're all kind of pooling our think tank together to try to impact the community through this different means, and which one of them is the lesson studio. And that's where I want you guys to go check out Keegan and get your students signed up, or you yourself signed up for some summertime activity other than just sitting there playing Fortnite or staring at your phone. Do something creative. Don't stop being creative. It's the true mental health. It's a great path to mental health. So enough of me chattering. Keegan, I've taken enough of your time. Thanks for jumping on here real quick and giving a little bit of a shout out about who you are. Appreciate it, brother.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. All right, man. Talk to you later. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.